How's it going, everyone? It's been back to back to back to back to back to back lately, especially today. I've finished being on a podcast like 15 minutes ago or something, and David Drezek is here. This year so far has been full of first-time offenders, but this first-time offender is a very special offense because he's the winner of our Phil Collins drumming challenge that we had in our membership site for the month of January, Phil's birthday month. And that's at www.drumtalktvbrilliance.com. We have a different challenge every month. If you've been under a rock or just not aware because your significant other doesn't let you watch the internet or something. So David, first, welcome and congratulations. And I think it's so cool that you picked a song that happens to be one of the inspiration songs I did when we started the contest. I don't even know if you saw that. Did you happen to see that?
I did, yes.
And it's a Robert Plant song that Phil played on. And it is, well, I'll let you introduce the song.
What is the name of the song anyway, Dan? I forgot.
I think it was Burning Down
One Side. Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, Dan, by the way. I appreciate this.
Oh, my pleasure. And thanks for making time. I was really shocked and happy that someone picked a Robert Plant song to do, because when those two albums came out, I just loved those. But we'll circle back to that. First, I want to talk about the contest and why you won first place. And for those who don't know, you can play to you have to play to originally released music. They can be studio if they're a live version. Either way, you got to say on the form which album is it from, but it won't get muted. It won't get pulled because it's on our platform, and we don't have to deal with all that stuff, which is a lot of fun. So you get to play to your favorite music and compete. And I know some people say music's not a sport, we shouldn't compete, but it's a thing where you stretch your abilities so that you get judged on 4 different categories that hopefully help your playing if you do a really good job, or maybe you just sit down, blow it out of the water, and you're that good already. That's fair. Let's see if I can remember the categories. Accuracy, we want you to play like the drummer that you're emulating. Sound, we want you to match as closely as possible that drummer's sound. You know what? Let's watch the Neil Peart challenge, and then you'll know what you're being judged on. February is our For the Love of Neil drumming challenge month. Drummers want to honor Neil with a chance to win a gift certificate to one of your favorite music stores. Neil, of course, was and will always be one of the most influential and legendary drummers of our time. From 1974 with his debut on Rush's second album, Fly By Night, through their decades-long career to Clockwork Angels, you can pick any songs you want to play to and submit. The Neil Peart Drumming Challenge submissions are open from February 1st through 11:59 p.m. Pacific Time, February 28th. Here's how to play for a chance to win. Step 1. Decide which Rush songs featuring Neil you want to play to and submit. This is anything from any album other than their first. These can and must be play-alongs to the official recordings. And don't worry, they will not be muted or pulled from our platform. Step 2. Record videos of yourself in horizontal mode playing to your selections, 1 song per submission. Step 3. Submit your videos in the Drum Talk TV Brilliance Showcase. It's free and so easy, a drummer can do it. Hey, you know what I'm talking about. Step 4. Your videos will be reviewed and graded on these 4 categories, which are explained on the submissions page. Here's what you can win. First, second, and third place winners get a gift certificate to their favorite music store and a Drum Talk TV shirt, picked from 36 designs. Don't miss out. Join us in honoring Neil Peart. There you go. Now you know what everyone gets judged on. I had a little brain fart there. Again, I was really surprised that you picked that song, and it's such a good song. What made you pick that song? Out of all the body of work that Phil Collins has, why that Robert Plant song?
I really got into Phil Collins at a later part of my life. I say later, I was a teenager, but still latter versus earlier. Mm-hmm. And when Robert Plant came out with that first solo album, I was a huge Zepp fan. And when I heard the first release on that album was Burning Down One Side on the FM radios, which you don't hear anymore on any FM stations, it just blew me away. And when I found out that he was the one playing the majority of the songs on the album, obviously picked up the album, that song just resonated with me. I started to learn how to play it as quickly as I could. I'm basically a self-taught drum kit drummer. I played, in the high school band and stuff like that growing up, but taught myself a whole kit. And I even brought home those little, on the marching band, those little tiny high-pitched drums, because I could add them on. So I took them from the music room, stuffed them in my bag, brought them home, set them up so that I could play those particular drum fills that he plays. And I just have a love of concert toms ever since that day forward. And
that's awesome.
Just loved it.
Well, your kit sounds a lot. We'll play a piece, everybody, but your kit sounds so much like Phil Collins drums as well. And my kit, it's partly a different kit right now. My big blue kit is all concert toms. I haven't had heads on those drums since 1983 when I had them painted. They came back the wrong color, but I had a recording session that weekend. So I told my drum tech, my best friend Mike, I said, let's just put the tops on, half the work. We got to take all this off it. And they just sounded so good in the studio. I never put them back on. Now, part of my kit is a 1984 Tama Superstar kit. I think it's the Super. Yeah. And And they have bottom heads, but they're deep and they sound like concert toms. And then I got some of my blue ones mixed in. So I'm real familiar with that sound, and that sound that Phil brought from his solo stuff and that era of Genesis in the 80s to Robert's first two albums. He plays, I'm sure, as you know, all but two songs on the first two albums. Josie Powell plays two on the first, Barrymore Barlow two on the second. And there's so much good music there. And sorry, Robert, but I don't think that music would groove or sound as good, not only without Phil's drumming, but the way Phil's drums sound really kind of give a signature to the sound of those albums. I think
they sure do. No, you're absolutely right, Dan. I think they're phenomenal. They just stick out. They just have that right tone. And they're tastefully, his drum fills are so tastefully done.
Yeah.
They're not over the top, but they're in the right spots. And it's just like, man, that's Phil Collins. You can always tell when he's playing drums.
You nailed that, because as a longtime old Genesis fan, if you listen to like their very first live Genesis album with Peter Gabriel, songs like Return of the Giant Hogweed, Get 'Em Out by Friday, all those old songs, even through the early 80s, there's some pretty crazy drumming going on there. Whereas, like you said, on Robert's stuff, just the placement and there's more brevity and it's just real tasteful and colorful drumming without having to be all over the place,
exactly.
Which is cool.
Exactly.
So let's give everybody 34 seconds of your entry. And this was tested, so we're hoping it doesn't get muted, but we'll show you how you can see all of the entrance videos, including David's full-length video, and as well as go back in time and look at the challenge we had of Keith Moon of The Who and John Bonham. The Neil Peart one is in action. There's over 20 submissions for that one right now. So yeah, let's first watch this Burning Down One Side excerpt from David Drezek. Here you go. It's so good. It's just spot on. The bell even sounds like it's the same note as the bell. Seriously, that is so cool. Did you happen to see the tour that Robert did after the second album?
I did, Dan. I'm glad you brought that up. That was my very first concert ever was 19. I think he toured in 1984 with his second album, I believe.
Right. Because after the first album came out, people were hounding him. Are you going to tour? Are you going to tour? He says,
didn't have enough material.
yeah, and I'm not playing any Zepp.
That's
So
right.
he waited
That's
for the
right.
second album. So that's an interesting thing we have in common. My first concert was Led Zeppelin.
Oh, wow. Where did you see him?
At the LA Forum, June 25th from 8 p.m. to midnight.
Oh, my goodness. I'm
I
jealous.
saw them 2 days after Keith Moon was there.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's
that was
fantastic.
my first concert. It was life-changing for me. I went from wanting to be an oceanographer to wanting to be a professional musician.
No kidding.
Yeah, that was my Beatles moment that a lot of other people have.
Fantastic. Yeah. No, I was just blown away. Again, the fact that he played on the album and he toured with them.
Yeah.
I was like in heaven. I'm like seeing one of my favorite acts plus one of my favorite drummers, because I've got three that are my inspirations. They're basically Phil, Jeff Porcaro from Toto, and John Bonham from Zeppelin. Kind of a mix of all that is my style for the most part.
So what did you take away from seeing that reproduced live, like right in front of you? And how, if you don't mind me asking, how old were you? I
was probably probably a junior in high school.
Okay.
Either a sophomore or junior. I don't remember exactly, but it was just an experience that I still talk about with my brother these days. It was just such an incredible experience. All the musicians were just phenomenal. He had such a great backing band. Robbie Blunt on guitar was just that sound that he got. And then again, here's one for you, Dan. Have you seen the live version or heard the live version of Far Post on YouTube?
No, I don't think so.
He played that at the Worcester Centrum in Massachusetts, a show I was at, during the third encore. He hadn't played that live at all until that point. And you know what song I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The release, from the White Knights soundtrack.
Yeah.
He played Far Post, and it's out there on YouTube.
Wow.
Check it out. They do a pretty good job. Huh?
Was it from the show you were at?
It was at the show, yes. I was at the show I was
I've
at.
got to look that up.
Check that out. You'll be amazed. And he even made the comment at the beginning of the song, we've never played this live, so here it goes, and let's see how it turns out.
Wow, that's
and it was
cool.
phenomenal. It really was.
I wonder if they got together in one of their hotel rooms and just shedded it out with Phil tapping on the couch or something like that.
I don't know, but they reproduced it. It was just great. I'm like, they played every song from both albums. So they just basically ran out of songs to play, and it's all right, let's throw this one out there. So
that's great.
It was great.
Did you ever see Robert live after that?
I did. I saw him for the Now and Zen tour.
Yeah, same here. The first time he did that.
Oh, Shaken and Stirred also, which is before Now and Zen.
That's right.
Richie Haywood on drums back then.
Yeah.
Little Feat drummer.
Yep.
Got a bunch of bootlegs.
I just thought of something. The day I saw them on the first tour, Robert was already friends with Richie, and they said they were at Richie's wedding during that day.
Yep.
Wow, I just now remembering that. And then Richie ended up playing. Yeah.
He did. Yeah, he played a great, man, that album. I love it. Talk about a different sound from the first two albums to, Shaken and Stirred. You get Little by Little, which is a huge hit.
Yeah.
Just a very obscure kind of music scene or music sound from that album versus his first two solo albums. But
that's cool. I have a vinyl release. I'm just remembering a vinyl release of Little by Little. That is the regular
the extended version.
Yeah, the extended version side B. Yep. That's what I was.
That's really cool. Yep.
Yeah,
that was a cassette single of the same thing you're talking about.
Oh, really?
Things, those cassettes.
I do. I've got that back here actually.
There you go. I get boxes and boxes of those things packed away.
Yeah, VHS and all that stuff. I can't throw anything away. I'm not a hoarder, but when it comes to my music stuff and videos of me playing back before anything was digital, and just I have all that stuff. It's giant Rubik's Cube closet of stuff. So what drew you to Phil Collins drumming in the beginning, and what was the first thing you heard? Do you remember the first thing you heard by Phil?
Honestly, I listened to a lot of Genesis, not a lot of their really early stuff with Gabriel. Is more when he started to kind of jump forward and become the lead
Mhm.
singer,
Yeah.
Selling England by the Pound. And then there were three, and just kind of slowly got submersed there. It really wasn't, honestly, until when I saw him live with Robert Plant that really got me to dig deeper into more of his stuff.
Mhm.
And it was more that, I mean, anything early Genesis or Brand X, that his drumming is just, people just don't understand how talented this guy was and the stuff he played and how
Yeah.
unorthodox method he played. And just, I'm like, I can't play stuff like that. It's just, the timing he was playing, it was just crazy. At
Yeah.
least with the stuff with Robert Plant and with Eric Clapton and some of the other artists it's a little bit more straightforward drumming with some tasteful, additions here and there.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. I have a weird question for you. Let me just see here. Is it your birthday today?
no.
Oh, okay, because someone put happy birthday in the comments. So I thought
Thank you.
maybe and I didn't see Steve's note while I was trying to remembering. But yeah, it's everyone's graded on in no particular order because we do have an order because they have different weights.
Yes.
Performance, accuracy, sound of the drummers' sounds, and technique, emulating their technique. So great job. So here's the big question. What got you into drums in the beginning? And how old were you then?
5th grade in school, when every little child goes home with all these brochures from the school saying, "Hey, mom and dad, I can play an instrument." I chose the drums, and my parents were hesitant, but they were like, let him do it, let him get it over with. He'll drop it in a couple weeks. And here I am 40 plus years later, still doing it.
That's
So yeah, I started at a very young age, and again, just went up through grade school and middle school and high school, and eventually I got lazy. It wasn't cool being in the band when you're in high school anymore, and so I
It's still
dropped
cracking
out.
me up that they thought you were just going to give up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
it was crazy. I just kept doing it, and eventually I really wanted a kit. I just was like, I got it. I'm sick of playing on boxes and pans and stuff like that with
Yeah.
pencils. So I ended up saving up enough money, and I got myself a Rogers. It's like a marble swirl concert tom drum set, 1960 something. I don't even remember what it was.
Wow.
So I got these things set up in my basement. I'm looking like, all this. I'm making all this sound. Like, I don't even know how to keep a beat, So I basically just kind of taught myself just a simple, 2/4, 4/4 time. And
That's
eventually
great.
I just expanded and started doing kind of offbeat stuff and just, little ghost notes and stuff like that. And it just blossomed through the years.
That's awesome. And did you like playing in the school band?
I did. I really loved it at a young age. I loved having the concerts. I loved that feeling of being nervous and sweaty palms and, your parents out there and having like a row of 15 snare drummers up there doing the same thing. It's like, oh my God, is that loud? All the parents are out there like, yeah, that sounds great,
Yeah, I played in my day it was called junior high school, not middle school.
Well,
And
mine was junior high school also. Sorry. First word it popped in my head.
I just loved it. And I think what got me was I had been playing drums since I was almost 7. So now I'm 13, 14, 15 playing in junior high in the concert band and an orchestra. And it was playing that kind of music that just felt so, playing the rock music and stuff that came on the radio and the records was great. But to be with like 40 other people and literally in concert together,
That's right.
it gave me the chills. It was a whole different thing. And I hadn't played like in a rock band before or jammed with friends yet, except for maybe once when I was 14. So those are the first concerts I did, like you said, with the parents out there.
Yep.
And I just loved that. It was like we're doing it, we're in the music business. This is a concert. Look, there's colored lights. I was so intrigued by the whole thing. Did you go on a marching band
I did, yeah.
Did you?
Played in the high school marching band for 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year.
Oh yeah, because that's where you ripped off the small
Yeah.
pumps from the quintuplets or the quads.
Yeah, I did. I brought him back though. That was
Okay.
nice of me to do that.
Yes. And so what did you take with you from playing in like concert band and marching band that helped you figure out what goes on the drum kit? What were some of the takeaways that you applied?
I mean, really, honestly, Dan, just a passion I had for music, for just the sound. I mean, I couldn't imagine my life without music at all. Just so being a musician, I mean, it's just
Love that.
every moment I have when I'm working, I've got these on all the time. I work from home, luckily, so I listen to instrumentals when I'm working because I can't have stuff with words.
The lyrics.
20 drums because I'm sitting there like, no, I can't do that, But I think just the passion I have for music and just the ambitions I had of wanting to teach myself how to play, keep a steady beat. And basically, when I learned how to do that, all I did in my cellar was play to tapes, headset on, and that's how I got to be they call it in the pocket drummer, that I could keep a good beat. My timing's really good. Quite honestly, the video that I sent in, that's drums are all stripped out of the song. It's basically just my timing to the song from what I know in my head of what I.
That's such a good job. Wow.
Retain from hearing Phil playing and all that. And that, unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, it's how I've taken ever since I got my interface. That's how I record all my songs, is I just take out all the drumming, dump them into an app, and I just, play the drums along to it. Now, I might take 50 takes to be happy with the end result after a while, but at least at the end I can say, hey, this is all me. It's just, and as far as the sound, that's GarageBand, believe it or not. I do all my mixing through a GarageBand app.
Wow. And how did you take out the drums? With Moises?
Yeah, there's there's Moises, there's there's several others that I used along the way. And yeah, you just take out what you don't want, and and that's why I try to pick songs that I really know well enough. Matter of fact, I get a week left. It's almost the end of the Neil Peart.
Yeah. Are you going to enter?
I am.
going to ask you, can you give away what you're going to enter?
Sure. I got no problem with that. Vital Signs.
Oh, wow. That's
love
nice.
That song. It's always been one of those in the background and never got a lot of recognition.
I was just going to say, I consider that a deep cut.
That's a very deep cut.
Yeah.
I love that tune.
Unstable Condition. Yeah, that's flooding back to me.
Oh, yeah.
That was from
Moving
Grace Under
Pictures.
Pressure.
No, Moving Pictures.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. That's a great choice. Only one?
Right now, I've been attempting Subdivisions. I can't get through it. There's too many parts in there that just blow me away. That I'm like, I'm not going to make my way through it if I had to, but.
Is it remembering it all, or is it stitching it all together, physically playing and getting it
all together? It's, the first quarter to almost half of the song, I think I've got it pretty well, but then you start getting to the middle sections during the keyboard solo, and then it starts getting to the end when he's got all those crazy timing and fills that he throws in there, and I'm like, I can't do this. My sister keeps bugging me to do it. You got to do Subdivision. I'm like, I don't have time now. So
that's cool. I can't wait to see how that comes out. There's some neat stuff in there. Have you checked out other?
I actually have, yes.
Yeah, there's really some
submissions in there. Yep.
Yeah, there's at least one medley in there with some deep stuff, and yeah, folks, you should check that out. In fact, while we're talking about that, Steve is going to put in the chat the site and the promo code for people to try it out, and check it out. It's not just for drummers. Well, the drumming challenge is, but as far as participating, but as a music fan, as a Rush fan, as a Who fan, as a next month is Vinnie Paul. The month after that, I think it's Stuart Copeland. You can watch all these. If you already do it on social, watch in our membership site where there's no drama like there is on social. And technically it's a social site, but there's no political conversations or anything about what's going on down the street at the restaurant. When are they going to open? What's taking so long? There's none of that garbage. And we'd love for you to cheer on the participants. You can comment on this stuff, but for you as a music fan or another musician, we've got game shows twice a month, the first and third Tuesdays of every month, music trivia. The next one coming up is going to be fun. That's on the 4th, and they're always at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. And this one coming up is prog, hair metal, and don't tell me, Steve, it's prog, hair metal, and Woodstock trivia.
Oh,
yeah, there you go. And it's going to be in the order of Woodstock trivia first, then prog, then hair metal. And people win stuff, $50 gift packages of goodies related to that theme. It's a lot of fun, folks. And fan Q&As with big artists and producers and record executives. We're going to start spinning up live stream concerts again. And it's a lot of fun. So Steve's going to put the info in the chat. But yeah, it's lots of fun. That's been our big thing. But I'm curious to see how this Neil Peart challenge unfolds. And we've got 3 guest judges. We have Brian Tichy, who's played with tours with Don Henley. He's played with Whitesnake. He's played with Ozzy. He's played with Foreigner. He's got his own stuff. He runs the Bonzo Bashes when they were doing that.
That's right.
And the Ox and the Loon. Then we've got Jason Gianni, the drummer for the Ultimate Queen celebration, with Mark Martel on vocals, who did the vocals of Freddie Mercury in the movie Bohemian Rhapsody. And Jason does a lot of other stuff. And he wrote the Drummer's Bible. He teaches at the New York Music School Collective. At the Collective, he's just all over the place. Oh, plays with Mark Wood from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which he also played with. And then we've got Lou Caldarello, who does the show with me, Under the Influence, where we drink a bunch of beer. And no, we don't do that. We talk about our musical influences, folks. But he's in the longest sitting, in his case, not standing. The other guys stand. The longest sitting Rush tribute band, 24 years. Most people don't even hold down a job or stay married that long, let alone stay in a band together. It's
let
the
alone
same
a tribute band.
That's right,
crazy.
exactly.
That's crazy. That's longer than most regular bands last.
exactly. And so they all are Rush aficionados, and I might put my 2 cents in again. But so I'm glad that you're submitting for that.
I plan on it.
So do you play in a band, Dave?
Not anymore. It's funny because most of my life I've just basically been a basement drummer, garage drummer, just kind of doing my own little thing. And I did when I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. What's that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's therapy, right?
It is, absolutely.
It's a workout. It's therapy. Yeah.
When I lived in North Carolina for several years, I ended up auditioning for a pretty well-known local variety band.
Wow.
And again, I'd never done that before, never auditioned for a band. And I was just like, so they gave me a handful of songs. So I learned them. I brought my drums, no cases, just stuff thrown in the back of my station wagon.
Right.
Pulled up, unloaded. They're looking at me like, what the hell is this guy, right? So I get up there and banged out the tunes and packing my stuff up at the end. I felt good about it, So I could hear them all talking in the corner. And I overheard them say something about they don't have their backup drummer this upcoming weekend. We're gonna have to cancel the show. So I said, hey, I'll be more than happy to fill in if you want, if you need somebody. So like, really? Yeah. So, all right. So they gave me 2 CDs worth of tunes. I basically spent a week, nothing but listening to these songs.
Mm-hmm.
Spent one day actually drumming to them. And then we had rehearsal on a Thursday night, rehearsal on a Friday night, and I played the gig that weekend and we nailed it. And I was offered the job right after that gig.
Oh, that's great.
That was really cool. I mean,
what kind of music was it?
everything. I mean, we played some Van Halen, we played some dance music, we played medleys from Grease, disco medleys, just stuff
Wow.
to get everybody a little bit of something that they want to hear,
Yeah. Typical thing you might find at a corporate party or something.
Exactly. Or, a
Yeah.
wedding party or something like that. It's really, really cool.
That's cool. So
And
we
I played a
know.
little bit. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just played a little bit in South Carolina, which is where I live now. I had a coworker of mine that his daughter had a band, and they were looking for someone to fill in for a couple weekends. And I, okay, yeah, I'll do it. So again, learned a ton of songs and just all by memory, and
That's great.
that was a lot of fun. Since then, I really haven't been doing much of anything. Doing a lot of recording, just audio stuff, just stripping out drums and just making myself happy, just playing and playing the music I enjoy playing.
That's awesome. And what is the music you love to enjoy playing the most? You mentioned you're into Robert, you're into Zepp, into Phil, into Ladder Genesis, Triumph. Triumph, of course, one of the best trios ever.
Man, yeah. A lot of the 70s, 80s rock bands, nothing really heavy, just good old rock and roll that we grew up listening to as kids, anything from the Who, Elton John, Zeppelin, Styx, Triumph, Rush, all of those types of bands.
Cool.
I just love playing. Clapton, all that stuff.
Great.
Yeah.
It's fun music. It really is.
Sure is.
That still is fun music. For those who may have not seen it, I want to show you an excerpt from your winning entry again, because it's so good. And I did not know that you stripped the drums out. That's freaking impressive. So this is an excerpt of Dave, our first place winner of our Phil Collins drumming challenge from last month, playing Burning Down One Side by Robert Plant, emulating Phil Collins with the drums stripped out. So what you hear is just all Dave. This is so impressive. Check this out. Oh, good. Now I notice in the background to the right, to your left as you're sitting, there's I forgot what it's called, but it looks like you have a door gate for either a small child or a pet. Which
talking about that over there? That
yeah.
thing?
No,
no, back here.
Yeah, that was in the video.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we have dogs. We have dogs that we have to gate off from areas of the house when one of my daughters visits from out of town. We keep her dog here, so we just gotta segregate him from the other rooms because he can just kind of tear into things. So yeah,
That's funny. So
all my kids are growing up. They're all all five of them are. I get 2 out of the house and 3 still here at the house. So
cool. That's great. And do you have dogs at home?
I got 1 dog at home. Yep.
What kind of dog?
He's a part lab and shepherd.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's a good mix.
He is a good dog. Unfortunately, he's not doing so well these days. He's got a lot of issues with his hips. Yeah, he's just turned 12 on Christmas Day, but still a happy dog, though.
Good.
That tail still wags.
Oh, that's great. Dogs just really are life enriching.
What do you have for dog? You have a couple?
Yeah, we have 2 cats. I just saw one go by and jump over a thing that we keep the dogs out of a certain area. We have for cats, we have a Maine Coon and a Russian Blue.
Oh, wow.
And for dogs, there's one that I'm using as a footrest right now. She's about 68 pounds and she's 40% pit bull, and the rest is border collie and Australian shepherd. Then we have she's 1.5. Then we have one that's 2.5. That's part boxer, shepherd, and husky. And she looks like a leopard. She's a brindle. Mm-hmm. And the only husky you see in her is her tail. The rest is short hair brindle. And then Sasha's the only boy. He's 3.5, and he's half shepherd. And I'm sorry, he's half Australian cattle dog and half husky.
Wow.
And he runs all 5 of them. And they all get along, and the cats spoon with the dogs and lick their faces.
Great.
It's just
That's
crazy.
great.
It's
Yep.
we wouldn't believe it if we didn't see it. And the amount of English that they comprehend and do, it's amazing. Do you experience that with your dog, where he just understands the language?
They're a lot smarter than we make them out to believe they are, for
Definitely.
sure. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
know, we've got 5 cats, and most of our cats all get along with the dogs as well too, which is great. It's nice to see that.
That's awesome. Yeah. So let's talk concerts for a moment.
Yeah.
Have you gone to a lot of concerts over the period of you being a music fan all your life?
Back in the day, absolutely. Saw some Van Halen with Sammy. Saw
I
Rush
saw that too.
twice.
Which Rush tours, David?
Grace Under Pressure was, I think that was the only tour I saw them. Yeah, Grace Under Pressure tour.
Okay.
And let's see, obviously Robert Plant several times. The Firm, got to see the Firm.
You saw the Firm. I missed the Firm somehow.
Phenomenal band. Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Only 2 albums though.
I know, that's a bummer, but
yeah,
you know, better than stretching out and turning into something that you don't really want to listen to anymore.
But I made up for it. I had Chris Slade on our show.
Did you?
Yeah, I just saw a Facebook memory. That was 10 years ago.
Oh, man.
I almost fell over when I saw that.
I love Chris Slade, man. What a great drummer. Great drummer.
Really good. He tells a really great story in the interview of how he got that gig. And I'll tell it real quick. First of all, he's a foot shorter than I thought. I always saw him like in this David Gilmour documentary. He looks like a real tall guy. I'm not tall. I'm short. I'm 5. I might have been 5'8" at that time. I'm probably shorter now. And when I opened the door, we were like eye to eye. And I don't know if I visibly went or what, but he was standing with a smile, and I was like so blown away. But he tells the story where he got a call from David Gilmour to go on the tour for David's solo album tour, which I saw, which was great.
Oh, wow.
And so went to the pub with my wife, as he says. We celebrated, came back, phone rings, and it's Jimmy Page. And it's so funny. He like impersonates Jimmy Page saying, yeah, hi, Chris. This is Jimmy. Yeah. Paul and I have this thing going, and we were wondering if you'd be part of it. Well, when does it start, Jim? Well, we're hoping you'd come down next month. Oh, I just signed on to go on a 18-month tour with David Gilmour. You know what Jimmy Page said? He said, that's okay. We'll wait. Wow. They waited for
Wow, that's amazing. I did not know that.
Yeah, that says so much about him.
Dang.
So
that's fantastic. I love his style of playing. He's played for a lot of artists as well too. That it's just people don't understand that. Not just the Firm, or not just AC/DC. He's got
Uriah Heep way back in the day. He played with Uriah Heep. His first professional gig, he tells a story where he was sitting on a hill above, I think he said above his school, and Tom Jones was performing.
Oh, wow.
And he said to his friends, someday I'm going to play with Tom Jones. That ended up being his first professional gig. I think he was 17, 18, or 19 when he got that gig.
Wow.
So, and he's still friends with Tom as well. Crazy history really there, right?
Absolutely.
So out of all the concerts you saw, which one really was way and above your expectations? Just was like, oh my gosh, whether it was the drummer or the light show or the weed or whatever. I mean,
believe it or not, this was a show that I was invited to at the last minute. My brother had somebody that couldn't make it, and he asked if I wanted to go. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Peter Gabriel, the So Tour.
Oh,
Dan, talk about blowing. I had no idea what to expect. You know, obviously I knew Peter Gabriel sang for Genesis. I knew of some of the songs from his So album, but to hear those tunes live, to hear some of the stuff that he did when he did Biko and just laid himself out on the audience, and and the drums just pounding that. I can't remember the drummer's name.
Was it Manu Katché that did the tour?
It could have been him. I'm drawing a blank, but that name sounds familiar.
I know he plays on a lot of the album.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What just from an overall perspective, that it just, I didn't expect it. And I think that's what blew my socks off the most, and just was like, wow. But right behind that is my first concert with Robert Plant, of course.
Yeah.
And then Triumph was phenomenal. I mean, for a three-piece band, kind of like different from Rush, totally different from Rush.
Oh, yeah.
Whole different sound, but can really carry it with just, three musicians. It really, and the vocals on Rick, I mean, and the guitar playing. Oh my
God. And a big sound. Their production was ahead of their time.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
here's a little Peter Gabriel fun fact regarding the album. So the song Red Rain, you know that song, right?
Course, yep.
You think for a moment how it starts, you just hear like some hi-hat and you hear someone sniff while they're doing that.
Yep.
Do you know who's playing the hi-hat in that song, but not the drum set?
I do not.
That's Stuart Copeland doing the intro hi-hat part.
Seriously?
Yes.
What? It makes you think, why, number one, but then when you actually listen to it, it's like, man, who would have thought of that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's like
Jimmy Page
playing. He plays tambourine on a Rolling Stones song. Like anyone could have probably done it, But
but because it's them, it sounds better, right?
Right. Now, did you follow Peter's career after that?
Actually, I haven't.
So one of the best concert films I want to recommend to you is Growing Up Live. It's the tour for the album Growing Up. Okay. It's just a few years old. I think maybe it's 10 years old. But it's Growing Up Live. He's got Jed Lynch on drums, a great band. His daughter, who looks just like he looked in 1972. It's spooky. And it's in the round, and the stage changes configuration for every song.
Really?
Yeah. And for Salisbury Hill, he's riding a bicycle around the stage while the stage is turning one way.
Come on.
It's amazing. Yeah, you got to see.
I will for sure. Yeah, that sounds great.
And he ends up in this giant bubble, this giant inflatable. It's got to be a 12-foot bubble that he's inside, singing and bouncing around the stage. I don't know how he didn't. It's the best concert film I can think of. It's so good, and he's just so good.
Never heard of that. I'm definitely have to check that out for sure.
And Tony Levin played on everything Peter's ever done. He's the only player.
He must sleep with that bass in his hand or something. I mean, that sound he gets. I love the fretless bass anyway. That's always the guy from Tony Franklin from The Firm played the fretless bass on it. Yeah. Oh man, I love that sound. Love it.
And Tony Levin also plays the stick, of course.
Yep.
But then he also, in one song, it might have been Downside Up. The centerpiece of the light rig and all that stuff comes down, and they hook Peter and his daughter up to this thing, and they're walking upside down opposite each other. And Tony, while they're hooking them up, the music kind of drones. He's playing a stand-up electric double bass. Okay. It's so good. It's from a rhythm section standpoint. It's so good. And then he's got some guests, the Blind Men of Alabama, come do a song on stage, and it's so good.
That's so awesome. Good. Definitely we're going to check that out for sure. No doubt.
I don't really like it, but it's so good.
I can tell. Yeah.
And I've never seen Peter in person live. I missed the one. I don't remember. There was a tour where he had like a waterfall and a lake in front of the stage or something crazy that they toured with these pumps and just crazy productions, this guy.
It's weird too. I never realized until just recently that Phil Collins played on a couple of his solo albums early on when he went solo. I did not know that. And I listened to a couple of these tunes on YouTube. I'm like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But good stuff.
Cool. So
just a quick Phil question for you. Sure. Have you checked out the what is it, like a Phil Collins tribute? I forgot who put it out there. Somebody.
The documentary by Drumeo.
Yeah.
Have
you checked that out?
Yeah.
It's done very well. With that.
Yeah. Kudos to them. Totally.
Yeah. I hate to see Phil like that, man. Oh my God, it just breaks my heart. It really does.
Yeah, it is hard. Sometimes, like, I've seen people take a quick turn, and I think Phil kinda took a quick turn.
Right.
You know. Have you read his book?
No.
Okay, his
No.
biography not dead yet. Get the audiobook because
Okay.
he reads it.
Oh,
It's
really?
yeah,
Oh,
it's him
wow.
telling the story.
Okay.
And I've got the book as well, but I'm a audiobook listener because I can listen while I'm doing other things.
That's right.
And just to hear him tell his story with his happiness, with his anger, with his angst, with his sadness, with everything. It might be the book I've heard the most F words in. And Geddy Lee's would be second, which is also very good.
Yeah. No,
Read
I'll
by
check that
Geddy.
out. No, I'll definitely check that out for sure.
Cool.
That
I'd
sounds
love your
great.
feedback on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, for sure.
Cool. So my favorite question of every interview that I do with every artist, I think in 12 years and 600 interviews, I've maybe forgotten it twice. So I don't want to forget it now. This is called the David Drezek Fun Fact Session. Question. Session, question. The fun fact question is when you're totally away from music, and I know you said I think you have a business, you have a job, I think you have a business, but when you're away from work altogether, and you're welcome to talk about what else you do as well, but when you're away from work altogether, what do you like to do? Do you have hobbies? Do you collect anything? Do you cook? Do you read? You got 5 cats. I have a feeling that factors into something.
That's a great. I mean, once upon a time, I used to love to play tennis. Used to love to golf. The older I get, the less my body allows me to do that anymore. So, I mean, really, this is my go-to. This is my, my space out here. It's, I do stuff around the house. I enjoy doing yard work. I love sprucing up, doing when this nicer weather starts coming around, getting out there, mowing and just trimming and just making everything look nice, but
Cool.
This is my go-to. It just makes me feel great. And
That's awesome.
Can't beat it. Well, you can, but
that's great. Do you want to talk about what you do for work?
Oh, yeah. I'm just took on a new job actually back in August, working for a company that works with obsolescence material, end of life components, and this is all electrical components.
Mm-hmm.
The company is in Georgia, and basically my boss is in California, and his company that he started got absorbed into this company in Georgia called Flip Electronics. And basically what we do is we go to the original manufacturer, the original component manufacturer, and when they announce a component's going end of life, we understand what end product that device might be used in. And if it's anything that's long life type products such as medical equipment or construction equipment or aviation or stuff like that, we'll then purchase the material to make those components, and then we'll basically have everything under our name and allow the end customer to have many more years of longevity of that component versus it just going end of life and having to spend money on new design, all the different certifications you got to go for, and the years it takes to get to that. So I thought when I interviewed for it, I'm like, this is really, I mean, I work for an electronics company. You might be familiar with Flextronics.
Yeah.
I worked for them for 23 years up until recent. And then I had this opportunity, just kind of threw my name out there one day, and 3 months later I get a phone call. Hey, you want to, talk about this job? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Wow.
So I get hired. I get to work remotely from home, and I love it. I'm the product manager, so I basically manage anything from sales orders coming in from our distributors to scheduling a factory that we have producing our parts in the Philippines. So I manage that side of the business, and then basically manage the material coming back into the States and then shipments off to our end customers. And
wow, that's neat.
Soup to nuts for the most part. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. It's a good challenge, but it's very, very rewarding at the end of the day.
Great. It's important to do things that are rewarding at the end of the day.
Definitely.
Great. Well, thanks so much for participating in that challenge. Look forward to seeing what you submit for the Neil Peart Challenge and any other future ones. Hang on the line with me after we say goodbye to the audience. And everybody, I just want to show a quick video. If you're not familiar with our membership site, we'd love to have you be part of it. And here's a quickie from my wife about it.
Drum Talk TV Brilliance is for you if you want to enjoy exclusive live stream concerts, want to participate in fan Q&As with big artists, want to play fun music-themed game shows online with a chance to win prizes, you're a drummer and want videos posted of you playing to your favorite music without it being muted or pulled, and so much more. And it's only $12 a month or $120 a year. That's less than a combo meal at most fast food restaurants. That's an insane deal.
That's amazing.
It's not just for drummers. It's for all music fans.
And if you look in the chat, you'll see the code and the website. You can just try it out if you want for free for 3 months. Come to the game shows. You can submit videos even at the free level membership and plenty of other fun stuff. So give it a test drive, folks. Lots of other fun stuff coming up. And we'll see you all soon. Thanks for joining David Drezek and myself, winner of the Phil Collins Drumming Challenge of January 2025. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Dan.